Hi, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be making some maple brown sugar scones. I'm going to be making this for an afternoon snack. This would also be great for breakfast or really whenever you want a little bit of a treat. To begin this, I am currently mixing together 2 eggs, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, a half a cup of heavy whipping cream, and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And I'm making sure that's really combined. You want the eggs to be broken up and you want all of the brown sugar to be incorporated with the mixture as well. It smells really good. It really smells like vanilla. So we're just mixing that up really nice. And then we're gonna get to the dry ingredients. The dry ingredients are a little more difficult because we're gonna be cutting in some cold butter. So for the dry ingredients, I'm gonna need 2 1/4 cup of flour. I love how scones taste. They're always so delicious, and this one should be fun with the cinnamon and the maple syrup, make it seem a little fallish, and also I'm hoping it will taste slightly like a cinnamon roll. Then you're gonna want about a tablespoon of cinnamon. I'm just measuring this out with my eyes. I do like a little more cinnamon, so I wouldn't be mad if I got more than that, but roughly about a tablespoon. And then you want 3 teaspoons of my baking powder. And for this, you want to be very exact, so I'm definitely gonna use measuring spoon for this. And then you're gonna need a pinch of salt. That looks good. And I am going to mix this up real quick. And then I am going to cut my butter into cubes, and we are going to cut it in. So I'm gonna be using a fork. If you have a pastry knife, that'll work even better. And you just want to make it so that this dry ingredient mixture has a sand-like consistency. Good. My butter, like I said, you want it to be cold so it will cut in nicely. You don't want it to be like frozen either. It's always hard to find the perfect temperature for this. Okay, now all of the butter is in there, so I'm just gonna use my fork and mash it in. You're gonna want it to look something like this. Kind of looks like the consistency of wet sand, especially with that cinnamon in there, it really looks that way. So now you're gonna wanna make a little well in the center. Forming that well. And then you're going to dump your wet mixture in there. I'm just gonna do one last little mix before. Okay, and then we're gonna mix that all together until it just combines. You do not want to overmix this, otherwise it will become really tough. So just make sure everything is coming together. Don't overmix. Okay, that is looking good. Now what we're gonna do is get some flour. This surface is all nice and clean. And so we're just gonna dust a little bit of flour. Then we're gonna plop this out on top. It's a little more wet than I'm used to, so hopefully this will still turn out okay. We're gonna sprinkle top a little bit more. And then we're gonna knead it a couple of times, but again, we don't wanna work it in too much or it will get too tough. But you want to make it, it's not so sticky. And then you're gonna wanna form it into a circle. It's about 8 inches around, just like so. And then you can cut it into about 6 to 10 pieces, depending on how big you want your scones to be. I am going to cut mine into 8 pieces. So I'm gonna do 1/2 and 1/2 again, and then just like so. And then you're gonna wanna get out a pan and put either parchment paper, or I have a silicone mat that I'm gonna put mine on. And then we're just gonna lay them out on here. I am putting them in opposite directions, so they'll fit in like this. And you want there to be a space in between them too, so that when they're baking and rising, they don't combine. They look like little pizza slices. Slightly off center on some so that they all fit on there. Scones should look like this, and then we're gonna put them in the oven for 14 to 16 minutes. The dough did come together really nicely, so I'm happy about that. And there you go. See how much they puff up. Yep, they definitely rose up some, so that's a good sign. It smells so good in here. It is time to take our scones out of the oven. All looking good. I am going to transfer scones over to my cooling rack just so they cool off a little bit quicker. And as that is cooling off, I am going to start my maple glaze. So for this, you are going to need a half a teaspoon of heavy whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, a half a cup of powdered sugar, and finally a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And you're going to want to mix that up until it forms the right consistency. You want it to be able to spread enough, but you don't want it to be like too liquidy either. Make sure you're getting all the powdered sugar lumps out of here. Okay, that is looking good. So I'm going to set that aside, let this cool. Once these are cooled a little bit more, I will ice them. Okay, the scones have cooled off enough to finally ice them. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it because I don't want to make a mess. I think I'm going to put it on a plate and make it in the circle and then dump it on, and I think that will be the easiest way to do it. So let's get out a bigger plate. Now we're just going to assemble it like how we cut it. Obviously expand it some more, so it'll be a little bit different, but oh yeah, this will work. Last one. Squeeze it right in there. You want your icing to be like this consistency. And then we're just going to drizzle it on all over all of our scones. If you go in circles like I am, and kind of make a pattern on it too. Just keep going until you get to your desired amount of frosting. So if you don't want it as sweet, I would make less of it from the beginning. And if you want it sweeter, make even more. Really depends on your sweetness level. These shouldn't be too sweet as scones because the actual scone didn't have that much sugar in it. So I made a decent amount of this icing, but not a ton. It's not like completely coating them, so. Here's a closer look. Oh, this looks so good. And now for the most important part, the taste test. Grab one of them. Look at that. That looks so good. See a little bit dripping off of the sides, coming down. Oh, this looks so good. Okay, let's give this a try. Nope, oh, really good. The texture of this scone is perfect. It kind of just melts in your mouth. It has a great texture. It has a great flavor. I love all the cinnamon, and the maple syrup from the icing is also delicious. It just comes together so nicely. I can't get over how great the texture of this is. It literally melts in your mouth the second you take a bite. It is so good. There's no bumps or lumps. It just kind of falls apart. And it tastes incredible too. This is definitely a winner. I will be making this one again for sure. It's not chewy at all, and so I am very happy with this. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. This is so good. I need a cup of coffee. This is what the inside of it looks like.